y'all. Well, I tried to make so many, or I tried to make a few little videos, and I have no idea what I caught on video and what I didn't. But I do have my little bundle of joy here, and I'm so excited for y'all to meet him. And I'll tell you, I didn't know until about 9:30 this morning that I was getting him. And so I had to jump up, I had to, take a shower, and I put on a little face, and I had to wash my hair. And so I was moving around, and I was texting Stephanie. She's the one that sent his picture to me. And so anyway, then I was emailing Jerry, and I said, hey Jerry, would you be interested in taking a drive with me down to the San Diego Humane Society? And sometimes when you're emailing people, it takes a little while to get answers and stuff. So we were kind of emailing back and forth, and when he didn't answer me and say yes, because I was waiting for him. I had gotten done with my little bit of shopping and at Walmart, and so I was sitting there waiting, for him to say that he wanted to come, because I had plenty of time to run over there and pick him up. And so finally I sent him an email, and I said, well, I guess that's a no. I got to get on my way. And so I left, and I came down here. And so they have it set up, and hopefully I've got a little video of it. There's little pieces of, canopies, and they call them tents, and that's where you go to pick up your baby. And so I was waiting there, and I was trying to take a little video of stuff for y'all, and this wall was, it's hard to explain. Anyway, this man stuck his head up, and it was just, above this block wall. And you got to get way over here. You're going to end up in who knows where. That truck is kind of bobbing and weaving. I don't know what he's doing. Anyway, so this man said, could I be in your video? And I thought, okay. And so I said, well, yeah, you could if I was still taking one. And I walked over there. It was Jerry. It was Jerry. I said, what are you doing here? He said, well, I was getting around, and he said, when you were sending me emails, and I was getting ready, and he said, I didn't realize until the last minute that, because I had told him what time I needed to be there. So he thought I had plenty of time, because he thought that I meant the San Diego County Humane Society, which is, they have a branch. They've got them all over San Clemente and Vista and Oceanside and down here in San Diego. So you could have knocked me over with a feather. I said, what are you doing here? He goes, I tried to catch you, but you had too much of a head start. He said, I wouldn't have missed this for anything. go with me. And it was a misunderstanding. Now, he hates talking on the phone, just like I do. I mean, I don't hate it to the exclusion that I don't ever want to talk to anybody, but I mean, I'm just not a, and he definitely is not. And I'm going to tell him, this is one of those times when you could have just picked up your phone and called me. But anyway, he just thinks that Toby is adorable, and he is. But I'm not going to be able to show you until we get home and get just a little bit settled, because as you can imagine, being about 11 weeks old, you haven't been on very many car rides. So I'm excited, and I can't wait to show him to y'all. And he's actually doing pretty good. And of course, he has to stay in a carrier. I can't, let him be loose. So anyway, y'all, I am very, I'm going to tell you, yesterday, pretty early afternoon, I guess, I was done. I couldn't do it anymore. It was breaking my heart seeing all those babies. And then when you expressed an interest, or you put one in your little favorites area and you went back to tap on it, it would say, this animal's no longer available. And the whole thing was just too much for me. I really was getting ready to just go out and drive the streets looking for a stray. And it didn't matter to me. I didn't care what it was. I was going to scoop it up, and I was going to bring it home, and I was going to love it. And so, and I've been praying all along, that I don't want to just jump in and get the first baby, and I don't want to do that. I want to have the right baby. Now, there's a lot of them out there, y'all, way too many. But yesterday I was just like, Lord, you know what? I'm just done with this. I'm done looking. It's hurting, and so I'm just done. And I took my name off of the alerts that I had set up for dogs and cats and kittens and puppies. I just canceled all my alerts so they wouldn't be sending me emails. I just couldn't do it anymore. And then I'm sitting there in my recliner, and it's, about to get evening time, which is my hard time. And I hadn't really been out of the house in a couple days, and except for water. And so I get this ding, it's a text, and I look down, it's from Stephanie. So she said, you have to look at this baby. And so I opened it up, and it was the cutest little bundle. And so when I had talked to a lady at the Humane Society before about a kitty they had, and she called me back, the kitty was already gone. And so I'm just like, I said, I can't do this anymore. And she said, don't go through the Pet Finders website. She said, go on the San Diego Humane Society website and make an appointment from there. You'll get one quicker. Well, she had told me that, a couple days earlier. And so immediately I went on there and I made an appointment. And now that was yesterday evening. And my appointment was this morning about 9:10 or something like that. And of course you tell them the name, or some of the rescue groups use numbers of the baby that you're interested in when you make your appointment. So when the lady called me this morning, I said, "Oh, you're calling me to tell me that Toby is gone." And she said, "Hold on a minute." And she came back and she goes, "No, he's not gone. He's here for you." And I said, "No way." I was just high alert. I was so excited. So you can imagine, I was running around, getting ready. I had to go to Walmart because I don't have any kitty stuff, you know. And the one thing that I forgot to get him was a kitty bed. Now, Miss Hazel had 4, and they've all been washed and all of that good stuff. I always use white vinegar to rinse with. One, it removes residual soap and any odors, and it also acts as a fabric softener. So I think that 1 or 2 or 3 of Hazel's little beds will be okay. So we'll just see. I may have to go out and get her one of those little cute pink ones with, oh, I keep forgetting, y'all. She's a he. It's gonna take me a while to get that. And you know, blue is not really my favorite color, but I guess I'm gonna, I'm gonna have to get used to that. But anyway, I'm so excited. And sometimes when there is something that you want, and it's like, I feel guilty when I ask for something, when that's a minor thing, when you consider everything that's going on in our world. I just like, Lord, I know this is a piddly little thing, but I definitely feel like that this kid, he was just supposed to be, because why do you see that cute little face? Because I had given up. I had just given up, and I was like, you know what? It's just like everybody says, well, when the time is right, you can't not look, and you can't put forth an effort. As much as I wanted him to, and he knew I wanted him to, God was not going to float a little animal down by parachute into my yard. I mean, that was not going to happen. So you do have to make an effort. You have to do your part. And trust me, I did. And so I was totally shocked, and I did not expect this. I just knew that they were going to call and tell me, oh, we're sorry, blah, blah, blah. I wonder if it had anything to do with me saying, I really need this kitty. Yes, he is a kitty. And so adorable. And Jerry is so excited. He's just like an expectant daddy. He just was looking at him and looking at him, and I said, Jerry, I have a doctor's appointment on the 19th. He got the biggest grin on his face. He will be thrilled to come and watch Toby. Now, he asked me, he said, are you gonna keep his, I've got to relax, y'all. I'm all tensed up because I don't want my baby to be afraid. But he's laying at the end of the carrier right here, and he's got his little face towards me. So, you know, maybe while I'm making this video, he'll kind of get used to the sound of my voice. But Jerry asked me, he goes, are you going to keep his name like that? And I said, well, you know, Toby's okay. You know, if he'd have been a little girl, his name would have been Lily or, you know, Libby or something like that. But I haven't had to name a boy in, gosh, I don't even remember when. But I don't know. I'll just have to think about that. And you know, I did some research on renaming your dog or cat or your rescue, and they said it's fine to do that. And of course, their suggestion was, like it is with most things, is you get them interested in a little tree, and you are sitting, you know, right there in front of them, and you say their new name, and you give them the little tiny treat, and then you back up a little bit, and you call them again by their new name, and you just keep doing that, giving them those little teeny bits of treats, and they said they'll get used to it in no time. Now, I was very close to getting Choppy, but you know, I just, when you give up, maybe, I knew that eventually there was going to be another baby, but I was exhausted, y'all. I was exhausted mentally, I was exhausted physically, and emotionally. I was totally exhausted. And you know, Terry's drama played into that as well. But so sometimes when you know, I'm just like, Lord, I'm done. You're gonna have to drop a baby right down here in my yard. And this is what happened. So I know we're gonna have a wonderful time together. They had already emailed me his medical records, and senior citizens for the San Diego Humane Society, if you're over 60 years old, you do not get charged an adoption fee, which for him, I believe it would have been, of course, the younger kittens are more popular. The one that I had looked at initially was it wasn't a tiny kitten. But they're more expensive, the kittens are. And so, since I did not have to pay an adoption or a rehoming fee, I was able to give them a donation, and I'm so glad of that, because y'all, they need it. I know people think that rescue fees and adoption fees are high, and some of them are ridiculous. I had looked, I don't know, maybe yesterday, and there was a little dog. When I go in to look, they have a choice on Pet Finder, and you can list specific breeds, but I would just do mutt. And so all these little, Maltese mixes and poodle mixes and Shih Tzu mixes and Chihuahua mixes, and it's not very common to get a purebred dog from a rescue. But this little guy was, I can't remember what his mix was, but he was part terrier. I like that because they don't really shed. I mean, they do a little, but not very much. But anyway, he was $750. I was like, if I was made of money and I really wanted him bad enough, that would have been okay. But anyway, so to get a baby and not have to pay anything except the cost of car gas, that's a blessing. That's a real blessing. And so I was so happy to be able to give them a donation. And that young lady that took it, she was very happy too. So it just has worked out. And he's got the tiniest little meow, and he hasn't been meowing very much. So, I was so worried. I was like, oh, Lord, don't let him be traumatized by this, rough freeway and all these bumps and stuff. And because I don't want him to be, he's got to be scared. I mean, this is rough on little animals. And so I'm not going to be real happy. I mean, you'll hear about it in the news that when people start going back to work, okay, not one but two folks just decided they needed to be in my lane. But, I'm really hoping, y'all, that these people that go back to work are not going to be throwing these babies back. The Humane Society has an agreement, and of course you sign the paperwork, and it says that if your adoption does not work out for you, then you will return the little animal. And y'all, these people drive like you have no idea. I mean, it's pretty crazy. And what they've done is, they put exits really close to entrances on the freeway. It's crazy. So everybody's jockeying, trying to get in their lane, and so you have to be real careful about that. But I'm so excited. We're almost home now, and I'll be able to take him out. And guys, he's a little guy, and so I'm gonna have to make him. I didn't have a litter box. I didn't have any litter, so I'm gonna put him a litter box kind of in the middle where the project room is, and then I'm also gonna put him one in my bedroom, because that's of course where he will be sleeping. And and I'm starving. Not starving, but I'm hungry. How long is this video? 25 minutes. Good Lord have mercy. Anyway, I'm going to let y'all go, and then once we get home and he's not, freaking out or anything, I'll take a little video so y'all can see him. He's so adorable. And we're going to be together for a long time. And I tell you, just like Miss Hazel, if anything were to happen to me, Jerry would step up. And he would take Toby. I wish y'all could have seen his face. I wish you could have seen his face. Can you believe he drove all the way down to San Diego because he wanted to be there when I got Toby? So, how sweet is that? And that big smile he got when I told him I had a doctor's appointment. I hope he's not going to be wishing I have a lot of doctor's appointments. But he knows he is always welcome. And I rarely ever know when he's going to show up, which is fine. So y'all, I have talked your ears off, and I've got some videos that are backlogged, and I'll put some of those out. And I know that despite, the pain I still feel for my baby girl, Toby is going to help me with that. He'll keep me busier. It's not like a yard. I mean, when somebody needs that litter box changed, they got to get that done. Or somebody is crying and they're hungry. You got to take care of that. So I'm going to have to be more on my toes now. And I had a long talk with Miss Hazel about it this morning. And I think she was kind of glad that I got a cat instead of another dog. I will say one more thing, and I've probably said this 1,000 times, but even when I had first gotten Miss Hazel and I knew that she was not people friendly and she was not animal friendly, I always wished that I could have gotten her a little kitten, because it might have kind of brought her out of her, it would have given her some company. And I truly think that eventually she would have been tolerant, and it would have been one of those cute little stories where the dog accepts the kitty cat. But I didn't get that opportunity. So anyway, y'all, I love you to death, and